Without a shadow of a doubt, the biggest thing to happen in the paranormal recently, of course, is the sale of the Warrens' house to Elton Castay and Matt Rife. And this has been met with, to say a mixed bag of reactions, I think would be quite an understatement. Some people are ecstatic at the proposition of this purchase, and some people are like a bit like meh. And it turns out that not everyone absolutely loves it as much as others. I think that's fair to say. And that's what we're going to be covering today. As the grandson of the Annabelle owner has spoken out about this and has basically stated that they're not particularly happy about the purchase. So, to cut a very long story short, the grandson of the Annabelle owner doesn't approve of the sale of the guardianship of his family's famous occult home. So, of course, we are talking about the grandson to Lorraine Warren, who started up the Warren Legacy Foundation not too long ago when Lorraine Warren was still alive, to basically continue the work of Ed and Lorraine Warren even when they are gone. Now, these guys have been a bit of a bone of contention recently anyway, as Boo Production has already made a video about how their dodgy practices has basically meant that he had to step away from the Warren's Legacy Foundation. But let me give you a bit of an overview on the Warren Foundation before we get into why they're not happy about the sale of the Occult Museum. So the Warren Legacy Foundation primarily refers to the paranormal research established in 2014 by Lorraine Warren and her grandson Chris McKinnell, and it is a worldwide network of professionals dedicated to studying the paranormal phenomena, educating the public, training future paranormal researchers, aiding psychics, and assisting individuals in experiencing paranormal issues. The foundation continues to work with renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, known for cases like The Conjuring and the Amityville Horror. And basically, they go on paranormal investigations led by key figures like Joe Franke, chairman and chief investigative officer, who has over 37 years of experience and trained under the Warrens. There's also public education, so through lectures, such as those by Joe Franke at libraries and in community events. The foundation raises awareness about the occult and paranormal phenomena. There's then training and resources, and there's also merchandise sales, because I guess you've got to keep the money rolling. Now, the whole idea of this was to basically continue the legacy, I suppose, of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And obviously the house is the last tie that was to Ed and Lorraine Warren. And now with Matt Rife coming in and Elton Castay to purchase the property, it's not exactly, some people wouldn't deem it to be the most serious of people. I personally think that they are a good fit for the property, but that's not everyone's bread and butter. So let me continue reading this Instagram post. Matt Rife and Elton Castay just bought the Ed and Lorraine Warren's infamous home, the one behind the Conjuring franchise. Now Rife is looking after the real Annabelle doll and announcing it past weekend. Ed and Lorraine Warren were paranormal investigators that acquired the Annabelle doll, and their grandson has taken to social media to speak out. Now, this is kind of where we get into it, because this is posted, it looks to be either over on TikTok or maybe over on Facebook as well, from the Warren Legacy Foundation account, which is the account of the grandson who goes by the name of Chris McKinnell. Okay, so here, over on TikTok, he stated, "I don't have a problem with the buyers. Anybody could have bought it, but I'm worried about the public going in without understanding what they are exposed to. A family legacy." So this looks like a thread that has been posted over onto Facebook. I think anyway. "I've kept quiet for as long as I could. Maybe longer than I should have. Over the years, I've become increasingly estranged from my family due to deep differences in how we view and perceive the legacy of my grandparents, Ed and Lorraine Warren. At the heart of that distance is a sincere disagreement about how sacred this work truly is, and how it should be handled with reverence, not publicity. Most recently, I voiced my concern about Annabelle being taken on tour." Obviously, that was with Dan Rivera, and the Devil on the Run tour. "And now I'm watching the only real home I've ever known, the one place in the world that I've felt unquestionably like home, be turned into a tourist attraction. Let me be clear, I have nothing against Matt Rife. I don't know who he was until a few days ago. I believe his intentions are good and I don't hold him responsible for the decisions that led to this moment. But for me, this is deeply personal. My grandparents weren't just paranormal investigators, they were my anchors. I remember riding my bike to their house as a kid. I remember my grandmother making me toasted tomato and cheese on rye. I remember holidays spent there, the quiet wisdom they shared, and the unshakable sense of duty they felt to protect people that they couldn't always see or understand. I've lived in that I've lived in over 100 places around the world, but that house, that museum, was my constant in my life. I've lived in over... Oh, obviously, this is a continuation. I wasn't consulted, I wasn't involved, and for years now, I've often been misunderstood. Called things like a narcissist or attention seeking, but that's never been who I am. I don't want to be famous, I want to help people. I want to honour the responsibility my grandparents entrusted it to all of us, to protect the living, respect the dead, and never turn this sacred work into a spectacle. I don't know what comes next, but I know I couldn't stay silent. The legacy matters. It's not a brand, it's not content, it's not entertainment, it's sacred. To those who've reached out, tagged me, or simply taken a moment to listen, thank you. I see you. All I'll do, keep standing for what... and I'll keep standing for what I believe in, even if I have to do that alone. And then obviously there is the picture of these, new owners. Not the owners of Annabelle, just the legal guardians is how they've chimed it, right? So obviously it's very interesting to see this kind of take because, as the last link, I suppose, to Lorraine Warren to a degree through this foundation, to have that person kind of speak out about it and to say that it's, they're not happy that what was like, a family property to them and what was a sacred place become a tourist attraction. It's I kind of understand it to a degree. I do believe that when they opened up the occult museum, obviously at that point it was always going to become a tourist attraction, and now that Matt Rife and Elton Castay own it, they're going to want to monetize it. They're going to want to open that up to the general public, and that is what they are planning to do. You can see both sides of it. You can see why they would want to open it up to the public, because paranormal enthusiasts would love to go and visit the Annabelle doll. It is deemed to be the most haunted attraction in the world. And you can see the side of it from Chris McKinnell, who's stating, this isn't a tourist attraction. This is what I called home for a long time and where I love to be. So you can kind of see it from both sides. But ultimately, what's happened has happened, and it's going to go ahead regardless. But it just seems to show that not everybody is particularly jumping for joy like the rest of us. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.